are you?
I'm great, thanks. How about you?
I'm good. So your name is Richard?
Exactly, I'm Richard. What's
Rich.
yours?
My name is Kylie.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Where are you from?
I'm from Brazil. I'm calling from the state of São Paulo.
Oh, Brazil. Nice. So
Yeah,
it's late where you live right now. Isn't it really late?
it's really late.
What are you doing up?
Because I have just got from college,
Oh,
and I need to study English this time because that's why Cambly is so amazing because it forces me to kind of study every day and to practice. That's good.
that's good. Yeah, and you can practice with at any time of the day because there's always tutors on.
Yeah,
So
that's nice. But as I work and I also study in college, I don't have a lot of time. It's
well,
hard to find a free time on my day.
right. Um,
And how about
what
you? Where are you from?
I'm actually from South Korea,
Oh, that's great.
but I live in the United States.
That
So
that's really nice. Which state are you in?
I live in Colorado.
Colorado. Oh, that's really nice.
Have you traveled to the United States before?
Unfortunately, not. But I'd like to one day. It's my dream.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I think that's the first reason why I am working so hard on my English to improve it and to be able to travel to the US or to another English speaking country.
Oh, that's great. Well, actually, I mean, I think you speak English quite well, so
Oh,
you,
thank you.
you know
Thank
your
you.
grammar. I think for someone at your level of English, the only thing you can do is pretty much just expand your vocabulary.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I am looking for new words to expand my vocabulary and to sound natural, because sometimes, especially as students, we tend to use the most formal words to express ourselves.
Yeah,
I want it to be natural.
right,
That's what I want.
right, of course. So, what is your major? What are you going to college for?
Okay, I study electrical engineering,
Oh,
and
okay.
yes, which is great. And I almost finishing it by December. I will become an engineer. That's really nice. I'm so excited
Hey,
about it.
congratulations. That's really
Thank,
exciting.
thank you. And that's the second reason why I am studying English because everyone knows if we have English, we can get great opportunities, right?
Oh, of course. Definitely.
Oh, yeah, I'm curious about you. And so, were you born in South Korea, but then you moved to the US? Is that right?
Yes, I was born in South Korea, and then when I was 2 years old, I was like left at a police station. So I didn't. My parents just left me. So I was adopted by American parents, and that's where I was raised in the
Yes.
United States. So I've been here for 33 years in the United States.
Oh, 30 years. That's really nice.
33, yeah.
But have you ever gone to South Korea?
I went to South Korea over the summer or just end of July to August for a couple of weeks. I was there. So,
Oh, that's amazing.
yeah, it
What
was
was your
great.
trip like?
I'm sorry?
What was your trip like?
Oh, it was amazing. Oh my goodness. The best trip ever. I loved everything about the people and the food and just the culture. Was just I don't have anything bad about Korea except the weather. It was a little hot. It was hot there, but other than that, I mean, everything else was just great. I felt very at home, even though I didn't speak the language. I felt very at home because that's where I was born, and that's where I just feel like I belong to Korea. So,
Yeah,
because
even the go
I
ahead, go
never
ahead.
got a choice as a 2 year old if I wanted to be raised in the United States or not and be pulled away from my country. So I've always felt like I kind of want to go back.
Yeah,
But
let's see. I know what you mean. And as you, even though you grew up in the U.S., when you went to South Korea, you felt like, oh my gosh, this is my place.
yeah, exactly. This is my home. I felt at home.
Oh,
Definitely.
that's really great. Do you intend to go there one day to live?
I don't know. That's hard because I have my husband and 3 kids. I can't just like pick up and move. They're in school. And I mean, my husband and I have talked about if we do something like that, it has to be after the kids have graduated.
I see.
And so, and I don't know, that's going to be a long time. My youngest son is 6. I have three sons. My youngest is 6. My oldest is 14. And my middle is 12. So I still have a lot of time until they're all in college and finished. So I
Yeah.
kind of want to go to live in Korea when I'm somewhat young. So I don't know if I don't know, 18 years or even 10 years if I want to live in Korea in 10 years. Right now I do, but in 10 years, who knows? I could change my mind
Yes, I
by
know.
then.
That's nice. And yes, that's really great because when I go to the US, for example, I will feel out of place because everything will be new for me.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, even though I talk here on Cambly, which is great over the internet, I think it's in person is completely different, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it can be. At least Cambly, you're talking to native English speakers and you can listen to how the rhythm of the language is going because that's different than watching a TV show and people are just, they learn their lines and they just say them. So at least you're talking to somebody that's just flowing and you get the flow and the rhythm of the language that way, which is very helpful than people that don't use an application like Cambly.
Yes, exactly. Cambly is helping me so much, which is great. I'm feeling comfortable, but in the beginning it was so hard, I was not able to say even hello.
What? I don't believe that. Yeah, your English is great.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. But I mean, it was really hard, because I was like, oh my gosh, what I say, I don't know.
Mm. Well,
Yeah.
now I can definitely can tell that um, it's become more natural. Speaking English has become more of a natural thing. I don't, because you can definitely can tell when someone's processing English and they're thinking about what they're going to say before they say it. But for you, it's become more natural and you could just speak pretty much what's on your mind. And that is a good sign.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much. I'm so glad to hear those kind of
Yeah.
things because we work every day, we study every day, and so I'm really glad to hear that. And
Yeah.
the first thing I realized when I started here on Cambly is because when we watch TV shows on TV, for instance, it's we only stop and start watching, but when we are talking, have a communication, we have to answer and to understand, so we have to develop a lot of skills, right?
Hmm.
So that's the best way to learn English, I think.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Because I'm actually learning Korean, and my recommendation for my Korean teacher is don't watch the dramas. It's the same advice I just gave you. Don't watch the dramas, but watch the reality shows where people are actually having conversations with each other. So you kind of can see how they're answering it and what is a more natural way of saying things.
Oh, do you? That's really nice. And
Yeah.
how long have you been taking Korean class?
Not long, since January.
Mm,
So I'm in my second semester. The second semester just started in August.
yes, and when I I saw a lot of I saw how Korean is like, and I think, oh my gosh, it's so hard to learn.
Yeah,
Right.
it is hard, but I think English is equally as hard if it's a language you've never learned. I actually think all languages are hard if you've never learned it.
Yeah,
So,
I agree with you.
um, I have a question. I know you speak, you're in Brazil, so you speak excuse me, something's in my eye. You speak Portuguese, correct?
Exactly. My first language.
How similar is Portuguese to Spanish? Is it similar at all, or how much percentage of Spanish would you actually understand if you happen to watch like a Spanish program?
Okay, that's a great question because when I tell to tutors here in Cambly that I speak Portuguese, they feel like, oh, that's really nice. So you are able to speak Spanish, right? And I feel, oh, slow down. Spanish. I can understand Spanish. I think everyone can understand Spanish here in Brazil, but we cannot speak. We
Mm,
can certainly say a few words, but that's
yeah,
not a lot. So
yeah.
I can understand, but I can't speak. So, and we have to be careful because, as you said, each language has its particularities. So we have to be careful
Mhm.
when learn expressions, slangs, and things like that.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
I can understand, but I can't speak.
oh, okay. Well, understanding is way better than not knowing anything.
Yes,
So.
we usually say when we Brazilians don't speak Spanish and we go to an Spanish speaking country, we speak Portugal Spanish.
Portugal Spanish.
You
That's
know?
just like Konglish, Korean and English. They have Konglish. So that's so funny. I guess all countries probably have the little mix up of languages and stuff.
Yes, actually here I have two texts, because I love reading, especially to increase my English vocabulary.
Oh,
And can
perfect.
I read
Yeah.
those to you?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I make a mistake, you can correct me. Okay, feel
Oh, of
free
course.
to correct me. Okay, so let's get started. The first one is called "Look at the Stars."
Look at the stars. Okay.
Yes. Once there was a girl who married a young man. Her husband worked for the government. After they married, he had to work for 2 years on an Indian reservation. She went with her husband, but she didn't like the place where they lived. She didn't like the weather. She didn't like the food. She didn't like the people. One day, she decided to write to her mother. She explained that she missed home. She missed her parents. She missed her friends. She missed her comfortable. She missed her comfort. Her mom wrote back and said, "My daughter, you have two options during these 2 years in the Indian reservation. You can look at the mud or you can look at the stars. The choice is yours."
Mm.
Inspired with her mother's words, she decided to learn the Indians' native language, culture, and customs. She developed a feeling of love, respect, and appreciation for the people and for the language. Thanks to her mother's honest answer, she enjoyed her time with her husband in this new place. Oh,
Oh, that was good.
yeah, it was such a good
That
text.
was good. That's kind of like what we were talking about. Being in a different country, and you kind of just have to adjust to that culture, or you'll be really miserable as a person. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's really great because I'd like to go first to the US, to speak English a lot and to make friends. But if I let me see the word. If I go to another English-speaking country, for example, London, England, it will be fine. I will
Mhm.
look at the stars and not look at the mud,
The mud, yes.
Yeah, because I'm also speaking in English and doing a lot of things. So yes, that's really great. I think we have to be positive perspectives, right?
Yes. That's right. And, life doesn't pan out the way that you planned it, but you should see positivity in everything.
Exactly. That's really great. Are you a positive person? Do you?
I am so positive that my husband says he has to be negative just to even it out. I'm positive about everything. And
That's
sometimes my husband's like, that makes me sick, as a joke, as being sarcastic. But yes, I'm a very, very positive person.
that's really nice. Yeah, because especially in my case, I'm studying that late. I I could complain about it, but I feel, oh my gosh, I'm studying English. I have this opportunity, so let's get started.
Mm-hmm.
Study it.
Oh, that's great. Plus, you're young. It shows. Are you 22? You're
Yeah,
22 years old?
actually I'm 23.
Yeah, you guys, at that age, you guys don't even need to sleep. You guys
Yeah,
can just, can live off caffeine. When you're in college, that's what college kids do. They pretty much live off caffeine with the amount of homework and then being social. Yeah.
yes, I love drinking coffee to be awake. To be awake. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to read you the second one. Okay.
Yes, of
Second one.
course.
Okay. It's called promotion. Oh,
Promotion.
it's a business area.
Okay.
Uh, an individual entered his supervisor's room and asked what he needed to do to get a promotion in the company. His supervisor said that there was going to be a meeting in the company. Then he asked this individual to go to the store and see if they had pineapples for the meeting. The individual left the room, and after some time he returned and said they didn't have any pineapples. Then his supervisor asked what fruit they had. He answered, I'm sorry, sir, but I didn't ask that. In the meantime, another employee entered the room and the supervisor asked him the same question. After a while, he returned with the answer. They have no pineapples in the store, but there are oranges, apples, bananas, pears, and watermelons. I checked the price for each fruit.
Hmm.
I asked a discount for a large volume. Here is the phone number of the store. He can order the fruit over the phone and they will deliver them here in the company for us. Who do you think got the promotion? Okay.
Good question.
Yeah, such a good text, especially in business area. And yeah, I totally agree with that text because sometimes our supervisor or our boss asks us a lot of things, and we have to try to do more things besides what was asked, right?
Hmm.
But especially the job market is so competitive nowadays, so we have to study and we have to try to do our best. So that's what I think.
Yes. Um,
And what do you think about that?
yeah, I mean, the second person went above and beyond and did way more than what even the supervisor asked of. So that is that's really that's really good, and that's how really people should be living. I feel just go above and beyond. Doesn't matter what kind of job you have. Doesn't matter what school you go to, what class you take. You should just go and do it with a happy heart and do more than what is necessary just for yourself too. Because I assume the first person when he came back, he was just like, yeah, there wasn't anything, there wasn't any pineapple, and he thought he did a good job, but he really should have done what the second person did, which was went above and beyond and did more than what was asked of him.
Yes, and I totally and I see that first person, I think he learned about that situation and
Hmm.
he was going to do
Definitely.
more things. So it was great for him.
Yeah. I do have, and you only said it once, and you got he's and his. So the very beginning when you said it's supposed to say his supervisor, you said he's supervisor. So just make sure you watch that and you don't say he's like he. I'll type it so you can see what I'm. So you said, oh, what did I just do? You said he's instead of his. I mean, he's is he is, and that's a pronoun. His is a possessive noun to the supervisor. So it's
So
So just when you were reading it, I just only heard you once, and then the other times you did say his, but the first time you said he's.
okay, it's a slight difference, right?
Just like the smallest little sound, like the verb or not the verb, the vowel, just different vowel sound, and that was it. But that just changes the word.
Yes, I know what I mean. Yeah, that's it.
So that's it. Other than that, I think you did a great job. You're a great reader.
Oh, thank
And
you.
you spoke very clearly, and I understood everything you said. Um,
Oh,
so
thank
that's really good. I applaud you. I think you're doing an amazing job, and Cambly definitely I can tell has helped you a lot. And you being just devoted and dedicated to learning English has given you that energy to keep going and keep going until you get to where you want to be with your English. And I think as somebody that's trying to learn a language, you should always keep learning. So,
you.
because even when you get to, oh, I can have a great conversation, I'm comfortable, you should then go up the next step
Yeah,
in a language. Because even as a native English speaker, it's good for us to read the news, read articles, even learn new vocabulary words. Just as a native English speaker, we still need to continue doing that because it's good for the mind.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that's really great. And when I when I get the fluency, for example, because in January I'd like to apply for TOEIC.
Oh,
But
okay. The
yeah,
talk, yeah.
yeah, and I want to get a great score, so that's why I'm working hard.
Hmm.
And after that, I will keep on learning and reading because if we don't use it, we lose it, right?
Exactly, exactly. That's so good. And like what I tell my other students is repetition is everything. Repeat it over and over and over. Use it over and over and over again. Because if you can learn something and the next day lose it, you will forget it. So it's definitely good to practice and practice. So
Yes, and do you have a Korean Cambly to study with native speakers?
no, I have a husband who speaks Korean.
Ah, do they speak Korean fluently?
Yeah,
Ah, so it's
but
easy for
he doesn't help me so much because it's hard. I mean, he's great to once I get to the level of conversation. I'm not there yet. I'm learning grammar right now, but once I get to that level where I'm speaking, then he'll be great because I can have somebody to talk with. But when I have questions about grammar, he has no idea. He's like, I don't know. I don't know why we say it this way. I don't know why we do it that way. And it's just like English. Not everybody that's a native English speaker can explain the language, can explain a verb or a noun or anything like that. They've just are immersed in the language and that's just how they learned and it's just in them, but they don't understand it.
Yeah, then that's really great you said that because it's so curious because I can talk about English grammar more than I speak in Portuguese, because
Yeah,
as I
yeah.
yeah, that's so interesting. And a lot of when I was studying at a private English school before. I studied there last year, but this year I decided to study only here on Cambly, which was the best choice I made, and that's really great. So I understand a lot of things about grammar. For example, synonyms, antonyms, regular verbs, irregular verbs, and in Portuguese,
Yeah,
I don't have a lot of information like that.
exactly, because you kind of just learned it, right? And you never really learned grammar. You might have learned, maybe it's the same as in the United States, where you learn grammar very quickly in a quick English class. For us, it's like quick English class, and after that, you really didn't focus on it. And that's exactly what happens when you don't actually learn another language. The only people that really know grammar well is the people that actually had to learn the language. Like you said you know English grammar. You probably know English grammar better than I do. I don't know.
And
And but I know Korean grammar, and I will tell my husband, this is what I learned in school, and this is why it is, and he'll think about it, and he'll say, that is right, that is what we do, but he can never explain why he did it or anything like that.
yeah,
So
exactly. Grammar is completely important. A lot of people say, "Oh, I don't have to learn grammar." And no, grammar is important because we understand the reason why we use this kind of words, and I think it's easier when we learn grammar.
exactly. And it's just like for me, if you don't learn grammar, you're missing a piece of the puzzle and it's not going to be complete. So until you actually fully learn grammar, then your puzzle won't be complete and you won't get the full picture of the language. You won't fully understand it.
Yes, and when I was in high school, I didn't like Portuguese classes. And I was like that even in English in the beginning, but when I was improving and doing a lot of things, I was like, oh my gosh, it's really nice, and I want to improve every day my English.
Oh, that's good. Portuguese sentence structure is very similar to English, correct?
Yes, there are a lot of cognate words, but we
Yeah.
have to be careful. uh, but yes, English is considered easy for Portuguese speakers, you know?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't agree with that, but okay. They say that, that's
Since
good.
you're learning English, of course.
Yeah, okay. Because everyone knows how hard it is to learn a new language.
Oh,
And
yes.
yeah, you know what I mean? And I don't know if it's especially in English that I enjoy studying or if it's language in general, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
when I intended to study also Spanish, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, but I'm doing one thing at a time because I don't want to screw up, screw it up.
Oh,
And,
you'll be trilingual. That would be amazing. No.
I want to be polyglot. When I learn four language and I know four languages, I will be great. Oh,
Oh,
that's
wow. Yeah. Oh my goodness. That's so great. People that learn multiple languages, I just applaud them because that's just for me, it's not easy. It's not easy for me. So I assume that it's not easy for them. They just work hard. They work hard at it, and I applaud that they can do that. Even a second language, I'm struggling with Korean, so I can't imagine just being bilingual. Other than there are people that are bilingual because they were raised in the United States, but their parents spoke another language. Like my husband, he's bilingual because of that. So he never actually really learned to speak English or really learned to speak Korean. Like an adult learns a second language. So
when we grow up speaking the language, it's easier, right?
it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier. So, because even in my Korean class, there are some. Oh my goodness, we're almost out of time. Okay, no, you talk and I'll just listen. I don't want to waste the last 20 seconds.
Okay, thanks so much. It was really nice talking to you. I hope we talk to you again. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Find me or I'll send you my schedule and you can book time if you want with me. Okay?
Thanks so much. Have a
Thank
great
you.
night.
Good luck. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.